Welcome back to Just Talking. We have a great show for you today. We have a great guest today as well, and that's Claire Sardina, who was in the musical duo Lightning and Thunder. Claire, nice to see you today.
Nice to see you. Thanks for having me.
Well, let's kind of maybe start from the beginning. You were married to Mike Sardina, and you were in the group Lightning and Thunder. How did you able to meet Mike?
Well, I gave him a tape, a cassette tape, and took it to his home, and he got to listen to it. Then he asked me to come see his band, and his band at the time was Positive Traction. And so I went and to see his band, and when he took a break, I listened to him as as I was there and enjoyed the music so much. And I said, "Oh my God, he's so talented, so good. His voice is so good." And then when he took a break, I went up to him and I introduced him and I said, "I'm the one that sent you the tape." And he looked at me and he paused and he said, "You're more beautiful than I ever imagined."
When you performed with Lightning and Thunder, what was one of a crowd pleaser song?
Crowd pleasing song, there are so many. Of course, the top of the line would be Sweet Caroline. Then there's Cherry Cherry, Cracklin' Rosie, of course, Song Sung Blue, Brother Love's Traveling Salvation Show. There are so many. And of course, I did my Patsy Cline tribute and we piggybacked back and forth. And I backed him up on many of his Neil Diamond songs. And we sang the duet, You Don't Bring Me Flowers, together. A definite crowd pleaser when we sang together.
Now, we're recording, my end is from Kenosha, Wisconsin, and I'm very familiar with Milwaukee and Chicago, but I believe you performed in Kenosha. Is that correct?
I believe we did somewhere around the Brat Stop. I don't believe it was the Brat Stop. That's a famous, I know, place in Kenosha, but it was around the Brat Stop. There was some place in Kenosha. I wish I could recall the title of where it was. Maybe the listeners out there from the Kenosha area could help us with that because I don't know.
I know you and Mike like custard, and custard is very big in Milwaukee. What custard stands would you go to?
Well, of course, now if he were alive, we would go to Cops after the big promotional that Jackman did when he was in town on December 2nd for the blue carpet premiere. But there's also Leon's custard, which is featured in the documentary. And that is the custard stand that Neil Diamond truly did visit after his Neil Diamond concerts.
And let me talk about these films that is just amazing that happened about your story. So originally there was a documentary that was created. Were you receptive of them filming you throughout the days and weeks?
Absolutely, absolutely. They called themselves the cameraman that came to our home, the fly on the wall, and then they put footage together from different television spots. For example, our wedding was televised and they relied on that footage. What the years that they weren't there, they relied on the footage. And the editor, kudos to the editor too. Well, kudos to Greg Coase, first of the director of Song Blue, the documentary, and then the editor had thousands and thousands of hours of footage to go through to create the documentary of Song Blue.
And I did see the documentary, and one question I do have to ask about it. was Denny's a popular hangout place that you and Mike and the family would go to?
Um, I wouldn't say it was popular. No, I would say that was a nonchalant place that we went to that Greg Coase happened to be in town. And I believe he was the cameraman, or possibly Jimmy Samarco, who did work for Greg Coase, came and filmed us at Denny's while we were there. They were there filming us during the day at our home, and then they just went ahead and followed us to Denny's. It's one of the more um, cute trailers that they have out for Song Song Blue, the document.
And now I'll transition to there is in theaters now is an actual full-length feature film distributed by Focus Features, and it's called Song Song Blue. Your mind must be exploding right now from all the publicity and the fact that it was made. What was your reaction when you
Say
got the call?
exploding, but I would say that definitely, yeah, blown away. Exploding is another word for blown away, I guess. It has been overwhelmingly, excitingly pleasant and a wonderful experience. And, you know, I'd say, when am I going to wake up from this dream? Because it's been like a dream for me and a whirlwind with these wonderful interviews and everything involved in going to the premieres and answering social media.
Well, we got headlines today here in Wisconsin is that Kate Hudson is nominated for an Oscar for her performance based off of you as she plays your character.
Yeah.
How do you think she did?
I knew all along the first time that my children and I were at a private screening, and after it was over, I turned to both of them and I said, "Kids," I said, "Kate's going to win." And we do hope she wins this time. We do hope she gets the Oscar for her outstanding achievement of performance as me, Claire, Thunder, Sardina in Song, the major motion picture.
And I think the motion picture did a great job. You talked about the documentary. I believe they based it off the documentary story, and they did it pretty close to it as well. Were you involved at all as far as consulting during the production or
Yes,
not?
yes, we are listed as consultants in the credits, and we didn't really have to consult these stars.
Yeah.
They too studied the documentary and formed their characters around the script that they had for the major motion picture, related, but how they could relate better. It's by seeing the true story in the document. So the motion picture, is based on a true story.
And you mentioned about they had the premiere in Milwaukee, which was absolutely terrific. Everybody I talked to says that Hugh Jackman was just the kindest person. Would you agree to that or expand on that?
He is. He is a very kind, down to earth person, and experiencing the song with him that I got to sing after the premiere was over, experiencing when he presented us with the State Fair bench, the Wisconsin State Fair bench. Those were dramatically wonderful memories I will never forget. And he was just the most, considering all the spots he went to that day, he was personable and kind and fun loving wherever he went.
You talked about you singing. Do you still perform anywhere or
Yes, and
let's hear all about
we'll be performing a lot more. I'm in a duo now called Thunder After Lightning. You may have heard Tony's voice in the background. He lives with me and we reside in Arizona for the winter months, in which we're getting a few contacts and jobs here in Arizona. We're here until approximately April 1st. Then, when we return, we have about 7 or 8 definite gigs underway so far and are definitely looking for more. We are called Thunder After Lightning. Music from the 50s on through today. Myself featuring Patsy Cline, Blondie, ABBA, disco covers, and more.
Have you reached out? I know Eddie Vedder was a big part of this story. Do you know if he watched the movie yet, or do you
I
keep in
believe
contact?
from all sources, I can't quote you on that, but I believe that Eddie, in my heart of hearts, has seen Song Blue, the major motion picture. Of course, he did see the documentary. And the one thing I could say about Ed Vedder is if I had a moment to be able to be with him today, see him, I would take his hand, I would hug him, and I would say, thank you so much for your love and support. When my husband passed away, he sent me a guitar, a Gibson, beautiful Everly Brothers guitar. We still have the guitar. Yes. He gave it to us in '06 when Lightning passed away.
When your husband passed away, and now years later, this again, I'm watching on the big screen, major motion picture. I like that line where he'd always say, "Eye on the prize." Was this the prize?
This definitely is the prize, and he knows it's the prize for me. But he's up there directing traffic. He's up there as my angel. He will always be my soulmate. He will be my mentor. And now I get to be a mentor of someone, and all the skills and things that Lightning taught me throughout the years, I can still perform and do what I love. And I'm grateful to God for that.
Okay. Well, on that note, Claire, I want to thank you for talking with us. I encourage any of the audience members to see the Song Sung Blue, the documentary, and definitely the Song Sung Blue theatrical motion picture distributed by Focus Features. It is just a 4-star movie, and we'll definitely see your tour of Lightning After Thunder. And Claire, thank you so much for talking with us today.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. Thank you, Kenosha. And stay warm, everybody. Stay warm.